So welcome. I didn't think I'd be doing a live again. I thought I'd rest. And here I am. So waiting for people to join. Om Tum Durgaye Namaha. Om Tum Durgaye Namaha. Om Tum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. This is a mantra to remove blocks, using Durga, the great creatress and destructress. She destroys what no longer serves you. She helps you create. Between her, she is the mother, the great mother of Kali, Kali Ma. And so Om Dum Durgaye Namaha is the mantra. We're going to be talking about the matrix. And we're going to be talking about the matrix on something I just learned from Sophia Stewart, the African-American woman who wrote The Matrix and The Terminator, and how her shit was stolen, which was very common. My dad was in the movie business, in the periphery of it, and it's pretty sick. And I'm sure many of you already know that, already. But Sophia Stewart, there's a video which I just posted, and you can check it out. And I was massively, passionately, insanely inspired when she said the matrix, the word matrix is Latin for the womb, the portal from which all sentient beings walk through. You can hate women all you want. You can hate animals all you want. But without the womb, there is no life. And they're trying to make sure that's no longer true. And Brave New World, Ada Huxley's Brave New Worlds, where babies are raised in capsules, in these fluidic capsules, where they create betas by lowering the oxygen every day to make sure that the IQ is not above 70. Swear to God, read the fucking book. If you've never read it, you need to read it. And then you have the alphas. And the alphas get all the oxygen. They're trying to destroy that. They are afraid of our womb. And it is so obvious. I mean, look at the motherfuckers with Roe versus Wade. Did you ever think we'd be in 2025 looking at this? So when we look at the matrix, and just forget the matrix, is Latin for womb. And it's actually mentioned, she says, 7 times in the Bible. I have to ask you, I have to ask questions. What are these preachers doing all day long? Why aren't they mind-blowing your minds when you go to Sunday Mass? Why aren't they awakening you? Why are they keeping you asleep? Why not? Why are they, and specifically this is an American problem, using the Schofield Bible to subjugate the masses through certain nefarious agendas? My God, there's so much shit going on all at once. There's so much shit going on all at once. It really, like, you have to ask yourself, how do I triage this shit? How do I triage all of it? And I'm sitting here cross-legged, okay? And the download answer that came to me was, you don't triage any of it. As you gather information, as you awaken from the deep, dark sleep, the Sleeping Beauty sleep. I'm going to bring you that story once again in a minute, because it's worth speaking about it again. But once you wake up from the sleep, you don't triage everything around you, because you'll be spinning 360 degrees left, right, center, down, up. You'll be like a top. The only thing you think about and you co-create is 5D New Earth. That's it. That I've been saying this and saying this and saying this, and I know you're exhausted. I know you're exhausted because I'm talking to people your age, half your age, half my age, 1/3 my age, and they're fucking exhausted. And they're exhausted because all of you are starseeds that are listening to me. Those of you who want to listen to people like me, and I'm going to say people like me, because if I don't want to sound arrogant, but if you listen to me, if you listen to people like me, like the Mel Brands of the world. Mel Brand was a very well respected twin ray, golden twin ray. He passed in 2022. God bless his soul. I don't think he would be able to watch the shit that we're watching. But what's occurring in this dynamic is to create in you the impotence. It's to eradicate, to lobotomize your passions, your fire, your ability to co-create something brand new. And what's the best way? To make you feel despairing. Who was I talking to yesterday? Yes, I was talking to Andromeda Flame on the phone yesterday, and I was saying, and I've said this before, you've heard me say this before, but I'll repeat myself, just in case you forgot. Every motherfucking movie they give us, well, let's start with Yeshua. Let's start with that one. He dies on the cross. It means it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how fabulous you are. And I don't want to hear he died for our sins. I don't want to hear that shit, or else the whole planet would have stopped sinning the minute he died for your sins. Okay, I don't want to hear that shit. Clearly, that was not a carte blanche to continue sinning, killing for his name, his father's name. However, I'm using language that I've heard used throughout the centuries. Because, right, if somebody, I died for your sins. Let me keep being a pedo and hurting people and harming people under your name. Because now I've got carte blanche. That was never the point, and you know that. You know that as well as I. So what is the point? So I'm talking to Andromeda Flame saying, so we have him dying on the cross, William Wallace being disemboweled in public in the movie Braveheart. We're watching Rob Roy getting his wife raped, because apparently I have to use little grapes as words to, again, share something massively traumatic. Every fucking hero loses. That, you want to talk about programming? That's programming. Every fucking hero loses. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Oh, well, Noah of the Noah's Ark wins. What does he win? What does he win? And so the history of humanity is rising from the mud, the booted heels of the Roman Empire, aka the Catholic Church, Abrahamic religions, which goes back to the Talmud, the Torah, whatever. And I'm probably farther back than that. In other words, even farther back than that, meaning going all the way back to the times during the times Atlantis began to crumble. So we do have nefarious forces. This is a spiritual battle. It always has been. Since the Atlantean society splintered into factions of greed, of sexual deviancy, and of control of the lesser, in their minds lesser. Many of the druids, many of the shamans were dispersed all over the world. South America, Africa, into the Celtic Isles, into France and other parts, Russia, I'm sure, and parts of, in other words, across the world, when Atlantis started collapsing. Some people saw the writing on the wall and fucking, booted out of there, like basically said, yeah, we're gone. It's not going to get better. And some people really thought that they could actually fight 3D to 3D. And if you think you're going to win this 3D to 3D, you're sadly mistaken, my friends. But better people than us, people with more balls than us, have tried it and failed. Why am I saying that? Not to give you despair, but to turn your energy back into the energy, frequency, of co-creation with the universe, which is infinite. We know you won't win 3D to 3D, but I know you will outgun 5D to 3D. You will always win. You could be one person and face 1,000 and win because of energy, frequency, and we've been given drips of that truth. Like you see these little Shaolin monks that are 5'2", and they take on a guy just barreling after them, and they just literally put their hands very gently into the man's chest and flips the man on his ass using the velocity of his power as a 6'5" brute. And this little Shaolin master took him down. It's learning how to move energy. We have been given hints. It is part of and I can't say it again and again, it is part of the spiritual law that if you're going to fuck people over, you better tell them that you're going to do it, so that if they're apathetic, that apathy by default is consent. I'm saying many things you've heard about again and again in my lives. I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm trying to say it different ways so that something, what I'm saying, switches something on within you. To realize that we need you to start fighting your monkey mind to co-create the 5D new earth. My generation of boomers, I'm the last of the boomer. And if that makes you fucking run to the hills because you think all boomers are assholes, fuck the fuck off. Because every man in my family, born from 1923 to 1947 to 1962, were badasses in their own right. And they knew the system was corrupt from the giddy up. And to 1962, were badasses in their own right. And they knew the system was corrupt from the giddy up. And they were around and sitting around people who believed and ate up this system like it was cake. Like there was nothing better than this. And they knew it was bullshit from day. Why am I so violent about this? Because I'm sick and tired of you playing into the games of CIA think tanks who have created this race war and gender war and gay war and gay straight. And who goes into a fuck? Who gives a fuck about bathrooms? And if you want to wear a dress, make it family bathrooms. Like Trader Joe's has family bathrooms. There you go. Game over. It says male in one, but it's a family bathroom. You can use whichever one you want, and no one will accost you. Same with Starbucks. Not that I like Starbucks by any means, but this concept of stalls and what I'm trying to say to you is, if you want to create solutions, they'll take 1 week to redecorate a bathroom. My point is, we have been having the wrong fucking discussions in these lives. We are not having the discussions we need to have about raising our frequency, literally handling the one thing we need to handle, our monkey mind that does not believe in magic, that does not believe in transformation, that's been told that people can't change. And God damn it, I've seen fucking people do one fucking massive 180s. I've seen heroin addicts stop. I've seen my own mother, when she found out my father had been diagnosed with lung cancer, stop 27 years of smoking 2 packs a day. Stop. On that day. And that was it. She never picked up a cigarette again. People change, and people can change, and people will change. You're watching people right now changing. You're watching people who voted for Trump as a good example, who literally are going, oh fuck, I didn't vote for that. Not everyone's an asshole that voted for Trump. And they're apologizing. People change. People transform. People are being awakened. And you're part of the reason why people are awakening. Why? Because I'm a domino. You're a domino. All of us create a domino effect. The 100 monkey theories. We create this awakening by how strong we are in our own awakening, how sure-footed we are in realizing who we are and why as individuals. Do you understand you're a multi-dimensional light being that could supercharge this entire planet with your own electricity? You alone. and you're encased in a very pedestrian, clunky body, and somehow you're still managing to be awake, to want to be awake, as painful as this journey has been, as lonely as it's been. So I need you men to start remembering when you were women. When you as women, when you were incarnating as women, died in childbirth. When you women, I need you to remember when you were dying in childbirth, and that men grieved your loss, loved you, loved the baby that would never be, and grieved you. Watch the movie The Red Violin. The Red Violin with Samuel L. Jackson. It will blow your mind. And it will teach you a lot about history very quickly. Like the Chinese Cultural Revolution in the 1950s. That is a hell. If nothing else, watch it for that. The elite do not have a race. Do you understand? It's not about black, white, yellow, red, brown, beige, purple, or pink. They don't have a race the way you think. They have a caste system of the most important players. And beyond this planet, who controls them are, for many, and many of us agree, and I'm sorry, if you think this is woohoo, I'm not for you. There are nefarious energies on the other side, on other planets, who have had their own agendas, who siphon energies off, and they siphon depression, fear, and so forth. And for them, it is energy as precious as gold. Your fear is like a gold mine. Your depression is like a gold mine. Your rage is like a gold mine. They siphon it. They eat it up like it's a whipped cream and champagne. You got to understand that, because this is big, what I'm saying. I remember watching Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and they talked about Andrena. Should I finish? Andrena, and then he finishes with Chrome. And I thought it was like any other, whatever, street shit. I had no idea how it was created. Again, remember I told you, programming, they give you shit. They have to tell you the truth to your face. And us saying, well, I didn't know. I'm going to tell you because I didn't know either. So I'm not trying to put my foot to your ass when I say this. I didn't know either. I was tired. I was 37, 38, working 12-hour days, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 for that overtime. I didn't know either. Until one day I went, oh shit. And at that point I realized that everything I learned, I had to share it with those that I loved and those in a public way. And that anytime something becomes very popular and something else is oppressed, there are 2 reasons. One is they have to let in some light, or else they go against the Galactic Council, the universal law of balance. Or they will make something very, very famous to rewire a whole generation. And I'll give you actually an example. 50 Shades of Grey. Why? Because it moves the person away from real tantric sex. Then you have the Aubrey Marcus of the world who have bastardized tantric sex. In fact, I know of a person who uses hedonism and literally wraps it into tantric sex. They're calling it Neo-Tantra. Neo? Isn't that interesting? Neo, the Matrix. And isn't it interesting that we know that the God with a name would be Sophia, right? And the writer of the original Matrix movies and Terminator, her name is Sophia. It's weird how the universe shows us little hints Trust this. And you know, she has never gotten screen credit. She got paid, but that's it. Why is this all important? Well, knowledge is power, but most importantly, it's for you to understand what you are up against. And so if you understand the nature of egregores, which was the 50 Shades of Grey. I saw girls who were 18, 19 years old, whose first sexual erotic book was 50 Shades. Connecting pain with pleasure. Rewiring the brain to think that pain was pleasure. Do you know how dangerous that is? Do you know where that puts you? Do you realize that at that point now you can't use sex magic in the realm of light? Do you know that sex magic is no different than the Ouija board or tarot? It depends on who handles the energy. That means that sex magic is used by occultish motherfuckers. And has for thousands of years. But in the ancient truth of sex magic, it was used to kiss the lips of gods, to literally ascend, to literally go through transcendental awakenings of the chakras. Sex can destroy through sexual assault, as you well know, children or otherwise, or it can heal, as you well know. So when we look at what's going on with the women, and I'm going to go back to you men, reminding you that you were men once who literally bled out, giving birth to a baby. And I need you to honor us as women. Now, we are matrices. The goat, a female goat is a matrix, a female horse is a matrix. We are portals. As you once were, you were portals. And we were the men who either betrayed you or protected you. I don't know. But I'm asking you men to fucking step up. And stop your rubber doll robot fetishes. And look at real women. And where real women aren't angry, they're fucking exhausted. They've had to fend off father-in-laws, uncles, brothers, fathers from any sexual assault. Most of them, I don't know of a woman who doesn't have a story when she first gets catcalled or fondled at the age of 6 or 8. I've yet to meet one who never told me, oh, you know, my life was good, unless she's blanked out the first 10 years of her life, which some women have, and some men as well. They don't remember shit until they're 10. That's not normal, blacking out. That's not normal. So the only choices we have, and I think it's a very valid choice, it's a very empowering choice, because it really takes a lot of pressure out of you in some sense. I would think you would look forward to this. Just concentrate on 5D. That's it. New Earth, 5D. When your monkey mind says it's not possible, it's never happened, go against it. Do a mantra. Chant. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. Fight your monkey mind grabbing you by the ankles, pulling you back down into the mosh pit of fucking hell. You're not supposed to be a match to this anymore. Does that make sense? Oh, hello, Aurora. I'm sorry I didn't see you. Thank you. So, the word matrix, I had no idea until today, which is disgraceful to me. I'm actually embarrassed to tell you that today I found out the matrix means the womb. Holy fuck. I don't know. I'm literally taken over by incredible levels of emotion, because to me, I'm a writer, right? And words mean everything to me. Words are like evocative, healing, destructive. The matrix. And any man that wants to get, he's rubbing his hands because he wants to get a little rubber doll, or a subservient young girl that's terrified of being in her third world country, terrified, and she wants the American dream or the French dream or the British dream, and you're fucking 70 years old or 60 years old with a pot belly. Look at yourself in the mirror. Stop being a piece of shit. Whether she's Asian, African, Hindu, Ukrainian, whatever, look at yourself in the mirror. You're a piece of shit to do that to any woman. Why don't you become like a godfather? Help her. Don't fuck her for money. And there are things, you men who are beautiful men, honorable men, and many of you have chosen celibacy because you're fucking exhausted with women's bullshit. Trust me, there are a lot of women that are fucking it up for many, many, many good women. I work with women. 80% of my clients are women, and they are celibate, and they are lonely, and they're fucking gorgeous. I mean physically gorgeous, and I'm not being politically correct. Like literally gorgeous and brilliant and fierce and harmed, hurting, bleeding. You need to fucking stay away from men who want to fuck dolls and want us lobotomized. You need to call these men out so they're shamed into an awakening. I think I can say that I'm not here to create a gender war. I'm here to unify us who are of a higher dimension of consciousness and awakening. And I want us to band together. As a people, male, female, gay, straight, I don't give a fuck. And if you're really, really in your light, polyamorous, if you're in your light, not using people for your sexual, desires. I mean, I have to say, matrix equals womb. That should be a t-shirt. Not girls would be girls showing a goddess with the severed head of a man. Not fucking okay at all. Not fucking okay. And boys will be boys. That comment, that needs to be struck down from our generation, your generation coming. In the next 100 years, these comments should be looked at with laughter and like shock that societies would actually accept these kinds of blatant fragmentation, fractures of people who were born to be together and love each other. And help each other have kids and raise each other's kids, in whether they were monogamous or not. But from a higher realm of truth and integrity. And we've yet to see that. The fractures are based on the outside environment. I made a post today that said grief is literally, it pushes against capitalism. Well, why? Because when you grieve, whether you've broken up with your man or woman, whether you've lost your mother or father or a sibling, or God forbid, your child, the capitalist society doesn't give a fuck about your need to grieve and heal. You have 3 days to get back to work to make your bills. We have accepted a cruelty in the system that's beyond anything that we should have never accepted this. And you know it. All you have to do is watch A Christmas Carol. Oliver Twist. Les Miserables. And realize that we have lived like this for way, 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 way too long. But it can't happen without a unification of us as a people, regardless of the color of our skin. I had a woman, an African-American woman, because you'll see me doing Jesus as a Palestinian, Jesus in the more European way, Jesus as a black man. You'll see that. And she wanted to kick rocks with me on him being melanated. That's the new word now, melanated. You mean a man of color? Or they point to their... No, I'm not playing these kind of games, okay? I don't have time. I don't want to kick rocks on the color of a man's skin or a woman's skin. I don't want to kick rocks on who you want to fuck, as long as you're not harming any child or any human being. As long as you come from a place of kindness and love, we're good. The minute you harm someone, we're not good. In fact, we're not good at all. And yeah, it becomes my business now. 5D relieves all these issues. Poverty, famine, war, billionaires who don't give a fuck about whether or not you live or die. You are replaceable. It doesn't matter what job it is. It doesn't matter, oh, but I'm so glad it's my dream job. You're working for somebody and you're making them wealthy and you're not. So at the end of the day, 5D relieves you of these issues. Your twin, if you have a twin and your twin is a runner and you're going through runner, chaser, whatever the fuck you're going through, 5D changes that. Why? Because 5D is a consciousness of balance, of heart opening. Do you understand? Part of the reason why people are afraid to be loved and to love is, one, they've been fucked over many times. Two, they saw their parents never make it. Three, they are exhausted by work. 4, they're afraid that you will trigger them and they will not be safe with you. 5, they have to work and they're terrified of being homeless. And to open all these doors in the chambers of their heart feel so unsafe that it's better living a pedestrian, a shut down life. It's safer. At least I will have a roof over my head. My car payments are made and whatever. Maybe one day I'll find love. But love is not a convenient thing in a capitalist system. And this is a spiritual truth. 5D, abundance is not questioned. Abundance is everyone's right. What is abundance? The right to have shelter, clean water, and food. These are basic human rights. This is not a conversation. And yet we are faced with, and I say this with laughter, dictators, because I can't call them leaders, dictators who honestly will spend days talking about whether or not they should fund monies to stop a famine or this or that or the other. Places in Africa that are arid, meaning there's no rain, there's no crop. It's done by design because look, it rains where it needs to rain. It's manufactured. And here we are. We have crops. But that country doesn't. And that country looks like a fucking desert. And yet it didn't before. What's that about? It's engineered. 5D ends all these issues. Every issue that you're having personally, every issue that we're having collectively ends in 5D. It is no longer a frequency match. Lack is not a frequency match. We will have other problems in 5D, but it won't be that. And I've addressed why this arc going back into higher dimensions from where we fell. Because we fell, when we were made, when we were star seeds, when we were having incarnations on other planets, before this planet even was a twinkle in someone's eye. We saw Geno. We saw wars. These are all imports into this planet from other sentient beings, evil sentient beings. But as I've said again and again, we were naive. We were naive soul tribes. And now we are not. And one of the things that I want you to try to do, I'm going to ask you to do it, is to use a vessel of water. And if you don't know what I'm talking about as to water, the power of water, all of that, I'm not talking about Dr. Emoto's water studies and so forth. I want you to look at my water video on YouTube. You'll see it. I mean, it's obvious. And the reason is because I want you to use a bowl of water, a low bowl, like that's see-through. And use water and see if you can't scry. And move into a meeting with the Galactic Council. And ask them that at this point, all universal laws have been broken and that they now need to intervene. And the intervention isn't battling. It's the Great Awakening. It's the shakeup where these corrupt dictators can no longer determine or do anything. Literally, nothing can be done. Nothing can move any further. You can also scry if you prefer, or if for some reason your monkey mind can't get to the Galactic Council, is to go ahead and move into visualizing, or being shown rather, 5D New Earth. Whatever it is that you need to do, I'm asking you to do it, because it's not going to show itself. It's not going to create itself. It's not going to waltz in wearing a mini skirt and high heels and say, I'm here, I'm 5D, where do I report for duty? That's not how it's happening. It's an unfolding, like 1,000 lotus blossom, ever blooming energy, a frequency like a flame that comes in to expand its mantle across this planet. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Billionaires are either going to have to become enlightened. It's not like they don't have the money for all the books, all the teachings, all the teachers, all the talks. You know, it's not like they don't have the wherewithal to do what you've been dreaming of doing. The silent retreats, you get what I'm saying. They're either going to have to capitulate to that energy and give their obeisances to 5D, or they will no longer exist in this planet. There will be another planet that they've well earned that'll be 3D, but it won't be this one. I'm realizing that it's not going to be a two planet solution. It's going to be a one planet. This planet is going 5D whether you want to or not. And with that said, we need to be all in for that. The suffering that we have seen in ways that have shocked your very nervous system, and some of you have broken your hearts, and you need to mend it again, because you don't have time, not right now, to allow yourself to completely collapse into grief. Impotent grief isn't going to help. All our problems end once we're in 5D. And I please look at my old videos. They're not old. I did them actually 7 days ago. You'll see them. I talked about how the ascension is painful. Look at that video. There's some video on YouTube. Just follow me on YouTube. You'll see them. You'll see what titles move you, and you'll go right into those titles. And there are about 7 or 8 videos, so you'll see. I want you to have faith. I want you to remember what you felt like when you wore the Superman cape, or the ballerina, or you were like a little princess and you had a little wand, and you would make things, and you would create things in your mind, and you would see them. You might have had imaginary friends, which most likely were guides. They were your protectors. They were your tribe's men and women who came as supposed imaginary friends, but they came and posed, but they were protecting you. Making sure you were going to stay in that body, making sure you were going to stay in that incarnation. Until the veils of corruption, of brainwashing, took over your ability to see, really see, once you went into public or private schools. Once you were rubbing shoulders with assholes who believed in nothing, who were very much in their ego, status, power, sex, whatever. And that's where you need to go. Go back to that childhood. I have a guided meditation on connecting with the inner child under my TikTok video, my TikTok account. If you go under my playlist, there is an 18-minute guided meditation to connect with your inner child. And I highly recommend you do that so you can reconnect, so that you can have real conversation with your inner little boy or little girl. So that magic becomes part of your normal. So that you're not constantly fighting back the onslaught of your monkey mind telling you that you're ridiculous and that it'll never happen. It's always been this way. And may I remind you, and again, I'm repeating myself, it was not this way during Atlantis. As a matter of fact, even when we fell from Atlantis, I've said many times, there were pockets of this planet that were still in 5D for hundreds of years until eventually it was diluted by time. It wasn't always this way. No, not at all. There were places, communities where the druids, the shamans live with their people. Fuck, the Native Americans, for Christ's sakes, if you can at least hold on to that as an image of how people lived in peace, connecting with Pachamama and the animals. No, it's never always been like this. We have really fallen. And this is not acceptable. None of us are happy doing this shit. How many fucking handbags can you buy? How many Rolex watches? How many cars do you need in a goddamn garage? We're not happy like this. I don't see people happy like this. And the children that are being born, many of them are highly sensitive, highly psychic, can see auras, can telepathically hear you, and send images or words to you if you paid attention. I need you to trust in your power. I need you to put aside your depression, your happy pills, your fucking habits, and try to fucking smash them to smithereens and step into 5D. I need you to think about 5D when you're eating dinner. I need you to think about 5D when you're fucking taking a shower. How does it feel to take a shower in 5D? What kind of new earth is this? How do people live here? You'll notice, if you ask, that we all have the same vision. I think that's extraordinary. So, I don't know what else to say. Any questions? Thank you. That's right. So, yeah, I don't know what else to... I don't think I have much else to say. Believe in yourself. You're important. And I'm going to tell you something that's really interesting that I'm really getting to actually embrace, just so you know. I'm doing these lives very short because the attention span, to be honest. But the other is, my goal is to hit as many, not 300 people, 6 people, 3 people, 8 people, 9 people that really get this. And you will catapult this message across the planet. 9 people can become 9,000 people, 9 million people, 900 million people. That's all it takes. It's like Johnny Appleseed. You know the story, right? Johnny Appleseed just gathers, as he's traveling through Americas, right? He's scattering seeds. Some of them became apple trees, right? Some of the seeds didn't take, and that's okay, right? No one's crying over the seeds that didn't take. You have to think about, in particular, this country. A country that would build, and you have to understand, I come from Europe, I've spoken about it before. Every subtle fuckery is a fuckery that is nothing to be ignored. The fact that we should have trees lining the streets of the world, well, I mean, of America at least, chestnut trees. I remember when I lived in Paris, there were chestnut trees. Oh yeah, we'd buy chestnuts in October, November, but there were chestnut trees falling to the ground. Kid you not. There were cherry trees. Female trees bearing fruits and flowers. That's again the subtleties of annihilating the feminine energy to nourish anyone, literally anyone. You're broke. Oh, well, there's some chestnuts. You could roast them in an open fire. There are apples. They're actually ready now. You can eat them now. They're plums. We cannot live in a planet that is cruel, that is psychopathic, that is narcissistic, misogynist, and we live in a planet right now in the Western, well, I'm going to say in the planet. I'm not even going to say in the Western world because I'm seeing too many problems around the world. I'm going to say most of it is misogynistic. And if matrix in Latin means womb, and you're a man that's not calling men out for their bullshit, then I have more balls than you, apparently. And that's pathetic. Because when a woman, and I'm going to tell you something, my brothers, and I don't even know if I have any males listening to this, of course, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were none. But if you have brothers, fathers, uncles, you may want to send them the video, because it's important. We women who have become like men became men because you didn't fucking call out the bullshit. Feminine rage, and I did a video, you'll look back on YouTube, you'll see it. Feminine rage. I did 2 parts. Because you never called out locker room talk. You never stopped shit that you know you should have stopped. You never shamed a man or a group of men. You allowed it and said nothing. So women had to grow into men. And that's pathetic that you would have allowed that. Because if the womb means matrix, and the matrix is the womb in Latin, and it's mentioned, I'm going to assume it's in the Old Testament, like usual. I'm going to say this to you. Then you failed us. You fucking failed us. Whenever we incarnated as women, you failed us. And whenever some of us reincarnated as men, we failed the feminine. So now we have to right the wrongs. 5D is about nurturing, protection. It's very similar. Actually, it is Ubuntu, which is a South African saying of African. Do I have to mention black? I mean, do we have to say that? I mean, why do I have to even say that? But okay, African, because we're not going to say white Chinese, but we say white African. So sorry if I trigger you, but good. I'm glad I triggered you. African tribes have an Ubuntu philosophy, and Ubuntu is 5D. It means, brother, sister, you're hurting. Our village will stop everything to look at you and to circle you with love and compassion. Tell us how we can make you feel good, because if you hurt, we hurt. Ubuntu. Ubuntu is 5D. Ubuntu means that we are a collective. We are not a hive mentality. Absolutely not. That's not what it means. It's not a hive mentality. It's a mentality of generosity, of kindness, of support, holding sacred space. All the things we don't do right now. And many of you are lonely because, and feeling the horror of being alone, because you don't have that support. You don't have familia, whether it's blood familia or soul tribe familia. You don't have it. And so community is the only way. Community doesn't mean you won't have arguments. Of course you'll have arguments. You might argue over something stupid, and it will be handled by a wise person or a group of wise people. Fuck, the wise person could be 3 years old, or could be 80 years old, or 30 years old. It's not age, it's wisdom. And I really feel that we are on the threshold of that. And every single one of you is part of that vision coming to truth, coming to reality. A new reality is holding its breath, asking us. And if we want this, many of my generation wanted money. Do you know why? We wanted to be multimillionaires, not because we wanted all the things and the trappings and the private yachts and all that. No. We wanted fucking money because we wanted freedom to travel, to live how we wanted, to not be a beast of burden, making other people rich while we barely could pay the rent. For my generation, we wanted money for freedom. And now many of my age group, my people, if you will, realize that it's not money we need. It's a new dimension, a new frequency, a new consciousness. Money is not even, money's not the answer. Because even if you're rich, we saw what they did or what they've done with certain people. They've jailed them. They've taken their lives. Or they've made sure that the person's reputation was destroyed. So money will not protect you, but what will protect you is 5D. Because in 5D, this kind of fuckery no longer exists. It's not a frequency match. Once you realize what a frequency match means in all of its beautiful wonder, you'll realize that your problems are, probably 80% of your problems are solved. And that's what we're working for. So masculines, we need you to step up. We need you to talk about energy, frequency, the divine feminine. When you talk about a woman and you put her on a pedestal, okay? Remember, you're putting your past lives as a feminine on a pedestal. You're basically honoring yourselves and the incarnations you had as a woman. And if you're a man that can't actually wrap your head around giving birth and dying, or being a woman who was gang, assaulted, and you can't, then you're not ready for 5D. In fact, you're full of shit. You're a little boy that needs to learn the basic ABCs of spirituality. But if you're a real man, all man, you'll remember you were a woman, and that was magnificent as well, and it deserved it deserves protection and honoring. You don't put women down because of their menses. You don't put women down because of hormones. Those aren't hormones. Those are high spiritual psychic powers, the tendrils of the high priestess being activated, triggered, brought to life to give you messages, my friend. And yes, the great warrior kneels to the high priestess. I'm sorry, as I've done, as I should have done when I was a man. When I was a great warrior, I should have kneeled down to the high priestess. And one day, if I come back as a man in 5D, I will do so. It's not a competition. It's knowing what is what and what is the role of what, and honoring the roles of the masculine and feminine in this incredible universe. I mean, think of it. We're lucky. Our souls are androgynous, but we're not. And we get to incarnate not anymore. We're not incarnating because we fucked up and there's karma and there's this and that. If we incarnate now, it's because we don't feel worthy of rising out of the ashes of 3D into 5D. If we keep incarnating in the looping of the hamster wheel of stupidity, it's not because we're not good people. It's because we don't feel worthy to grow up. We don't feel like we're enough. But once we are in 5-6D, the nectar of lovemaking, the nectar of song and high frequency music and literature and thought and art and so forth continues on a higher vibration, more beautiful than we ever thought possible. And again, enjoying opposite sex or same sex unions with freedom, without shame, without looking over our shoulders, without being abused or destroyed by our desires. And desire has been destroyed by many religions. And the irony is it was desire that created everything. The universe was created by desire. Desire and love. Love and desire. As long as your desire isn't harming anyone, as long as your desire isn't deviant, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, and we are surrounded by psychopaths and dictators, and again, the word, I hate to say the word leaders, who are sociopaths, psychopaths, pedos, pedastry. It goes on and on. Because when you have absolute power and you've tasted everything within the realms of what they call vanilla, which I will call high tantric lovemaking, they want something else. They want something that is a taboo, something that harms. That to them is power. And why we're different is because to us, Tantra and the connecting of sound, healing frequency, and art, and philosophy, and unity, and community, is something that we know raises us to unknown heights. And we are being ruled by people who I just mentioned want something deviant in their palate on the daily. They get a rise out of that. It makes them feel really powerful, really good to hurt others in any capacity they can. Those problems will be gone in 5D. It has been written. It has been written. Remember, not just in the Old Testament or in other holy books, in, what is it called? I forgot the name. Nostradamus writes about it. Sumerian tablets write about it. We were told we would win. So what the fuck are we crying about? We've been told we would win. I know you're tired. I'm fucking exhausted. I didn't expect to do this live at all. But when I saw Matrix equal womb, I had to. So just know that we're going to win. In fact, it's the word "we are going to win" isn't correct. We've won. The word, we've won. We've won 5D. I am so grateful I live in 5D. Oh my God, New Earth is so amazing. I love it. Just keep brainwashing yourself into that consciousness. I love 5D. Oh my God, I'm taking a shower in 5D. Oh my God, I feel so good. Oh my God. Oh, this pasta is amazing. New Earth pasta. Oh my God, I'm not joking. Just keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Your monkey mind will beat the shit out of you. Keep that personally. We've won. Exactly. Thank you. And I just keep the faith. But it's better than faith. Faith is the unseen. Close your eyes. Meditate for 5 minutes. You will start seeing things that are magnificent. There's a guy who's on the internet who talks about if you can't see colors in your third eye. Yeah, he's right. If you can't see color, don't despair. Put a crystal up against your fucking third eye. Okay? Then put the crystal out on the sun, in the moon, and clear up the crystal and put it back on your third eye. You will see violets. You will see colors. You will see prismatic. You will see explosions. You will see sacred geometry. Kid you not. The more you connect with nature, the more you say to Pachamama, your mother, planet Earth has been your home for hundreds, if not millions of incarnations. When you connect with her, when you walk upon her body barefoot, when you speak to her and say, oh my God, Pachamama, I'm so happy. We're in 5D now. We made it, Mama. We made it. She will sing back to you beneath your feet. Crop circles are erupting everywhere. Again, because the vibration of the planet is creating these crop circles. Right? And so Pachamama is speaking. She knows, and she's groaning in the basic birthing of her new self. She's actually birthing herself. And she knows what they're doing to her body and to her children of both human, of fur, fin, and feather. She knows. And they will not be a match much longer. It doesn't matter about them. And they will not be a match much longer. It doesn't matter about them. That lineage that you chose in this incarnation, the lineages you have long forgotten when you were Mexican or Spanish or French or Chinese or Japanese or African. There are lineages, there are burial plots where your bones still lay. You are doing it for every sentient being on this planet. And if nothing else, if you won't do it for yourself, do it for that. And start chanting, Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema, Ahom Prema. And this is, again, I have a whole playlist on mantras. It's called Mantras for Abundance because I figure it would get people's attention. But it's mantras to destroy blocks. Om Namah Shivaya. Shiva. So when your monkey mind starts betraying you, which it will, because you've been conditioned for hundreds of years, chant. Chant until it shuts the fuck up and sits its ass down. Chant until you no longer hear your monkey mind. Chant until you're tired, but it's a good tired. And you will see magic come to you in the most unbelievable ways that you will weep in gratitude. Anyway, I want to let you go. I want to send you so much love. And I will upload this on YouTube Sacred Intimacy Tarot. And thanks again. I listened to drumming to calm my monkey mind. Very good. Very good. Hang on. So we've done an hour. So yeah, let me let you go. Let me read some. Thank you. Amazing. You're talking about all this. It's important. Thank you, my love. So we're supposed to, hang on. There's a question here. Hang on. Okay. I want to make sure. Are we supposed to see pictures after colors? No, it's whatever happens. There's no supposed to. Okay. Number one. You're supposed to see, hopefully you'll see colors, not black. You'll see, and then yes, you could have like what I call visions, meaning, pictures of you, maybe meeting, right now I'm having a picture, believe it or not, of a blue high priest with a white beard and white hair moving in a very pale dove gray tunics, robes, walking towards me, and behind him is an indigo, like like the sky is indigo, and he's walking between temple structures, the temple, like Grecian columns is what I meant to say. And I just saw that out of nowhere. So you will be given images, gifts will come to you in all sorts of ways, and you must up the ante. And what will happen also, just to give you a kind of an idea of what to expect, as you raise your frequency, they will attack you, and that is normal. It's actually, you're doing great. And when they attack you, you basically tell them to fuck the fuck off. I'm not joking. And you call on your 4 or 5 Archangel Michael, Metatron, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and you call on them immediately, and that's it. That's the end of that. The thing with what happens with people who evolve and ascend is that they get so freaked out when they get attacked that they run back to their pedestrian religions or their pedestrian consciousness and decide to deny, instead of saying, oh, I'm being attacked. I must be kicking ass. It's like, fuck the fuck off kindly, thank you. You know what I mean? The parasites are real, yes. Thank you, blessings. Sending blessings, light, love, and peace to everyone. Blue avian, no, it was definitely a humanoid, but I know what you're saying. No, it was more like in the Krishna concept of, but he was definitely not Hindu. He was definitely not, he was more, I would say more Pleiadian is what I would say to you. Because I know that some Pleiadians have blue skin, silver sheen to their skin, and it's kind of like us, believe it or not. Some planets, they're very homogeneous, they all look alike, except for, this is a female, this is not. But our planet has all these races, and in some of these realms, they have multiple types of variations of a people, of sentient beings, humanoid-like, non-humanoid, hybrids, hybrids meaning biracial, we call them biracial here, just like we have here. And of course that happens. So it's been happening for since the beginning of time. And try to work out realizing that realizing that the gender wars, the racial wars, the religious wars, the anti-this, the anti-that, homophobia, it's all by design. I'm telling you, they have think tanks that do shit all day long. They have think tanks figuring out how to fuck the collective consciousness up so that you've got the egregores that do its work. It's almost like building a computer and then just switching it on 24/7 and it fucks with people. Okay? It's kind of like 5 Gregorias. 5, and I'm going to give it a pot, G. And how does that impact consciousness. It's shit like that. It's the food. It's the fuckery of putting fluoride in water. It's really it's really a mind blower. But no matter what's been done to you, you know, you can overcome everything on a cellular level because you are 75% water, I think, at a minimum, if I'm correct. And you can heal yourself, and until you don't want to heal yourself. To be honest with you, some people realize, oh, I got this diet, yeah, I'm out of here, fuck this. I mean, for real, they're like, I'm fucking exhausted, I'm done. And some people want to live, and some people want to live, and they don't realize that they were only given 35 years on this planet, or 21 years. And some people want to live, and they don't believe in alternative ways of healing themselves, meaning meditation, breath work, this, that, and the other. And then some people want to live, and yet they're terrified of death. And being terrified of death overcomes their ability to heal, because when you're afraid of something, what you fear becomes your reality. And so instead of healing themselves, they actually start sliding down into the mosh pit of the cesspool of fear, which at that point they can't heal themselves. Okay? So there are multiple reasons why people, and it's not their fault. What I can't stand about the New Age community is them, I didn't know they were doing that shit, and I talked about it under ascension making you, you know, like, it's exhausting. Going through the ascension is fucking exhausting. It's lonely, and it'll make you angry, right? Because then you start realizing the fuckery of supposedly spiritual community members, and you go, this person is so toxic, this is insane. But just, again, remember, spirituality is no different than a bishop or a priest or a rabbi or a whatever, right? There's no difference. You're going to have them come into various legs of a spiritual evolution, and they're going to come in to do their part to fuck up the path. In fact, that's their job, to fuck you up by whatever means necessary, right? And so just know this about the spiritual community. It is not more enlightened. You will meet some really fucked up people in the spiritual community. I remember once, I'll never forget, I was getting my tires changed, and I was talking to this guy who's very well, I'm not even going to mention him, but he's well known in the LA community, in the yoga studio, this, that, and the other. And I was telling him about how many of us have done some nefarious shit in past lives, right? And that was one of the things that we need to forgive ourselves. Some of we've been warriors, which means if you're a warrior, you've harmed people. Hello, you're a warrior, you got a sword, you're hurting people so you can live another day. So he said, well, what about people from pure lineages? I went, what do you mean pure lineages? No, I mean pure lineages. I go, what pure lineage? Well, if you come from a higher level, like it's the kind of thought pattern that people have about, you got to remember, Dan Brown was selling his books, okay? The Da Vinci Code and so on and so forth. This concept of bloodlines that go, like Yeshua's bloodline with Mary Magdalena going into the French Norman kings. And I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding. The arrogance of that shit, number one. Well, it said so in the book. It's a fucking fiction, asshole, and he stole it from Holy Bread, Holy Grail. But I digress. Even if it was the bloodline of a particular high avatar, if the bloodline is stolen at sword point, it loses its frequency and value. Let me explain. If Sarah, Yeshua's, Yeshua and Mary Magdalena's daughter, was forced to marry a high French king who was a psychopath, let's be honest, okay? At sword point, to bear him children, to guarantee this evolved bloodline, it dies there because now she's riddled with fear, cortisol, she's basically being graped, Yeah, that bloodline no longer matters. It's canceled itself out. The divine aspect of pure lineages cancels itself out. Does that make sense? That's why half the shit I'm hearing, oh, I come from a lineage. No, dude, what matters isn't your bloodline so much as who are you? Are you a kind person? Are you loving? Are you expansive in your consciousness? Are you fair? Do you embrace justice? Are you generous? That's more important than, oh, I come from Charlemagne. Oh, I know I'm Mary Magdalena. Really? Why are we talking? Why don't you change the planet right now? There's a sickness going on in the spiritual community about this shit. But I'm going to tell you something. Many of us, uninvited, have seen Yeshua come into our visions and Mary Magdalena. And that is a sign that you are fractal and you have been ignited to do what you're supposed to do. If that's what's happening to you, I can guarantee you are a fractal. As I am. As many of my sisters are. Okay? As my son is. We have like Yeshua on our walls. We have Krishna, we have Buddha, but we do have Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. And so my point to you is that is your sign. It doesn't mean you are a descendant of bloodline. It doesn't matter your blood. You're the one that determines how to make your blood holy and divine by how you embody this lineage you've taken on as a mantle. You're the one changing the frequency of this bloodline. Just like Dr. Emoto showed us how water could be changed by emotions. If that makes sense. Anyway, I love you so much, all of you. Thank you for being so open to my little rants. I've been in human form. You've definitely done something that isn't high frequency. If you've been in human form, yes. I recently was listening to a lady saying she had Mary's bloodline. Yeah, I know. Fuck off. Do you know how many women come up to me? I block them. I don't even want to. I'm not even going to kick rocks on this shit anymore. I'm done. You're boring. Oh, I have Mary's bloodline. Goodbye. Bye. But what have you done? What are you saying? What are you saying that's making me go, holy fuck? Yes. They're not saying anything. Okay? And so I would rather listen to you than to listen to, as a matter of fact, look at how many people I follow. I'd rather listen to the common men and women who have fractals of Mary Magdalena and Yeshua, some of them. I always say, I'm sure you squashed a bug. Everyone has done something. And if so, they should be doing great work, but maybe that is arrogance. That is arrogance to think. She was selling her courses. There's nothing wrong with selling courses. We all have to pay the rent or the mortgage or whatever. But what is wrong is to say, I have the bloodline of Mary Magdalena. I'm sorry, that to me, do you know how many times I've heard that? Do you know how many times? Mary Magdalena has now replaced Cleopatra. So I'm sorry, and I am not a cynic, okay, at all. I believe in all kinds of shit that'll blow your mind. But I will not entertain kooks. There's a funny joke, and then I gotta go. There's a funny joke my twin used to talk about, and I hope I say it correctly like he said it. But it was a story of there was a person saying this person was going to a mental hospital, and he was saying, I'm Napoleon, and you need to let me go. I'm the ruler of the world. And he just insisted, and finally said, I'm Napoleon. God told me I'm Napoleon. And someone yelled out, no, I did not. So I mean, it's this arrogance that is supported by arrogance. And it's like, he used to say it so much better than me. I didn't say it correctly, but you get this. No, I did not. God is speaking now, saying, no, I never said you were Napoleon. So my point to you is, like, be careful. Because psychosis is a real thing. And there's a lot of people going through the mRNA, whatever the hell a bloodline is. I mean, it's whatever the hell they've got in their little idea of what is a bloodline. I will say that we will choose lineages that have certain qualities and DNA memory. Like, for example, a person choosing to be Norwegian and having that bloodline, and Irish for that specific Celtic kind of Druidic history, right? and scholarly thing, and it is a thing with the Irish. They're anyway. I'm not going to get into that, but and then has a little bit of Chinese blood, then goes into Native American, but then goes into, I'm going to say Nubian blood, Nubian blood, and that is going to be a different storyline for that person than say a person that decides to have Irish blood, African American blood, Jewish blood, Japanese blood, because all four have had massive trauma in the last 150 years. That's a whole different lineage of DNA memory trapped. Did you notice that? All four. Why am I saying Japanese? Japanese American. Why? Well, because in the internment, slavery, Holocaust, the famine with the Irish, if somebody comes into incarnate in that, they are taking all of these traumas and working out, clearing the family lineages, traumatic memories, somatic memories that goes from grandmother to mother to daughter to child. And that's what many of us are doing, if that makes sense. I was having a debate about reincarnation. Dude thought we had to travel via the DNA only. No way. To be other races. Yeah. Thank you. So anyway, but I hope this helped. Please check out the other lives I have on YouTube, and the YouTube channel is Sacred Intimacy Tarot. Please check out the other videos. Please, I'm asking you to look at the one on water and the one on ascension and how exhausting. I think that's going to help you a lot. So you're not. I'm Irish, Scottish, and Viking DNA. And so you've got the Irish and the Scottish, and you've got the warrior energy with the Vikings. All of them are warriors, don't get me wrong. But the Irish and the Scottish have been massively abused. Massively abused. The Irish, of the three races you gave me, or three bloodlines, the Irish have been by far the most harmed in the last 150 years, right? Then after that, the Scottish are still that, but they're kind of getting along with the Brits. And the Vikings are basically going through conquering and traveling, seafaring. And again, all three of them have the Druidic lines, by the way, on that level. But if you had African blood from different parts of like Ethiopia, you'd have the original Jewish bloodline coming through as an Ethiopian. But if you were African American, you'd have a whole different story going on, which would include also having Native American blood, having white blood, and white blood from different ways it was deposited through abuses, right? So that's a trauma so you see what I'm saying? Yes, we have my family were Irish gypsies. Gotcha. So if that makes sense. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at your bloodline, it kind of gives you an idea, like for example, Sade's a great example. She's Nigerian and British, and I doubt she has anything else, to be honest. I'm not joking when I say that. And her energy, her essence, Sade's a perfect example of that, actually, is there's a dignity in her, and I'm sure she dealt with racism or whatever, don't get me wrong, but there's something about that mixture that's a little different. And I don't know enough about Nigeria to give you examples of why, but there's a sense of balance in her that other bloodlines would give more, more of a vulnerability, or more of a stoic energy, I gotta push through. And that would come from bloodlines that were massively abused in the last 150 years. It's going to show up. We're talking about 3 generations here, 50 years old each, right, of the people that survive, right? So 150 years old is 3 generations back. So that makes sense, doesn't it? It's interesting to me. So you've got to kind of like look at why. When you sit and look at your DNA, it's not to say, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No, it's to say, wait, okay. So if we're looking at, like, I'll give you an example. If we're looking at Apache as compared to Choctaw, as compared to Iroquois, as compared to, what's the other one that, you see, trying to remember, Blackfoot Indian. The minute you find out their history, right? The DNA history is like a domino effect. It's like the 100 monkey theory. So if the Trail of Tears, and I forgot, was it Apache? I think it was. Am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. But the Trail of Tears is a memory in the bloodline, even if your people never were part of the Trail of Tears, but their bloodline was, say, I don't know, I'm going to make it up, in Massachusetts, that trauma got transferred to them remotely, for example. And that's interesting. So when you're saying Italian, Northern Italian, as opposed to Sicilian, Sardinian, you'll understand that history. It's a completely different Italian. And I think Italians would agree with me. When you talk to a Sicilian or Sardinian, they are not Northern Italian. Like they're totally different type of Italians because of the experiences that they've had, who conquered them, and so forth. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting to really go into your meditation and go to yourself, why did I choose this lineage? What strengths and what trauma do I have to heal and accept and take on as my power? Does that make sense? Which includes whatever else. Remember to do something magical for your inner child today. All right. Sending you much love on your journey. I'm going to go to, I want to thank you. Any other questions or comments before I go? Okay. So much love. Thank you, Chakra Oracle. Good to see you. Mama Yeti, thank you. And yeah, go ahead and just follow Crystal. Thank you. Aurora, thank you. Go on my, again, YouTube channel, Sacred Intimacy Tarot. Go check out everything else. And let me know what you think on the comment section there, because I'd love to hear what you have to say after you listen to them. And then let me know what you love me to do a live on. Light language is amazing too. I love you. Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Gemma. And yeah, all right. So I'm going to let you go. Much love, much love, much love, sisters. Just let's support each other. Let's be there for each other. Hey, Sherry D. I'm good to see you. I'm kind of looking, Gemma. Butterfly, you're always there. I love that about you. Thank you for your support. My ex-flash, be blessings. I just kind of want to mention you guys because I'm grateful for your attention span. All right, much love. Namaste, be well.